gentlemen, everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world, this is Coast to Coast. All right. How you doing, gentlemen?
I'll go first if you don't mind there, stat guy. I'll tell you how I'm doing, baby. My boy Granlund. Last night, the Stars were playing Winnipeg. Comes up with a hat trick. Bo, that is the third hat trick. 2 by Renington, 1 by Granlund. 3 hat tricks, 1 playoffs. And we are going back to Winnipeg now, up 3-1. As Philly Sports Guy says, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. No, that's fantastic. 3 hat tricks in a playoffs is that's kind of amazing, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think stat guy, because yesterday when we talked about this, as we were getting ready to get off the show, we brought this up right at the tail end. I wanted to get your predictions on it, and you felt like Winnipeg. You felt like Dallas is going to win this series, but you felt like Winnipeg was going to win yesterday. Mm-hmm. What did you take away from the Stars game yesterday in terms of how well Ottinger played on that goal? Because if you watched it, it was literally they were getting shots on goal almost double what the Stars were getting, but yet they weren't converted. They only converted 1. I think he had 30 saves in total. He had 1 goal allowed. I mean, what did you think about the Stars last night? And did it change your idea of them?
I mean, that's the thing with Jake Oettinger, though. Like, you look at the regular season for both these goalies. Hellebuyck was one of the best regular season goalies, if not the best regular season goalie when it came to goals against, save percentage. There's a reason why he's predicted to win the trophy that the best goalie gets. Right. Oettinger has always been a great goalie, but he's kind of up and down in the regular season. Like, he'll have a 5 or a 6 game stretch where he's damn near impossible to beat. But then he'll also have a 5 or a 6 game stretch where he's giving up 3 to 4 goals a game and kind of giving up a lot of these cheap goals that an elite goalie wouldn't give up. Come playoff time, however, Oettinger historically is one of the top 3 or top 4 goalies all time in terms of playoff save percentage. So when the playoffs start, Oettinger is a much different player in goal. He's much more focused. He's much more determined, and he's a very difficult goalie to solve in the playoffs versus Hellebuyck. Hellebuyck allowed 2.04 goals per game during the regular season. He's averaging to allow over a goal more in the playoffs. So he has not played the way he played in the regular season. Like, he's actually playing a lot worse, and he is a big reason why Winnipeg is down 3-1 right now, because had he played the way he did during the regular season, he's not giving up the amount of goals that he typically gives up.
Yeah. Like I said, last night's game was just. I mean, it was fun to watch. And what the game even before that was even more fun to watch when they got 5-2, and just some of the goals that they were getting was just because they were getting it from multiple fronts. And it seems like last night, Granlund put Dallas on their offensive back and took care of them.
Because even in the first round against the Blues, I think that Winnipeg won that series in 6 or 7 games, and they were kind of asking Hellebuyck after that series too, based on like how he played, and he's just like, we're lucky to be advancing. Like, the offense bailed me out. I played like crap this entire series. I did not do my part, and the offense bailed me out. Well, you continue to play like crap, and right now the offense isn't bailing you out because Oettinger is playing like playoff Oettinger.
Yeah, I mean, you can only rely on your offense to bail you out so long. At some point, you have to actually be good at your job.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true, though.
Like,
absolutely.
He started, I think, 59 or 60, 64 games he started this year, the 82 games for Winnipeg. He was one of 2 goalies that made 60 starts. There was only 5 games this year where he allowed more than 3 goals during the regular season. And in the playoffs, I think he's only had 2 games where he's allowed under 3 goals. So, like, it's such a drastic change for how well he played in the regular season to how poor he's playing now. There's just a lot of questions. Like, I'm not going to use it as an excuse, but Winnipeg kind of is a little bit. A lot of the Winnipeg media is thinking that they overworked him in the regular season to the point where he's starting to show signs of fatigue for playing so many games during the regular season, because most teams, your starting goalies playing between 52 and 55 games is what they typically start. He was started 64 games, and the backup goalie only played 18. So now Winnipeg's wondering if they overworked him in the point during the regular season, where now he's starting to run out of gas a little bit.
So my question is, did you catch the tail end of that game?
I was watching the Pacers game against the Cavs last night, so I didn't really see much outside of the score tracking on the bottom.
So I have a question. So last night, towards the end of the game, I can't remember the guy's name. What's this, like Bedell or Bedlin or something like that? for the Stars. He came in on a guy's, I think his last name was Shaley. They got weird names, Shaley or Shiley. Either way, the guy came in from the Dallas and he just lit this guy up. Knocked his helmet off. I think he hit him in the face one time. He was just going at him. And they actually wanted to put him in the penalty box. They called it roughing. I don't know how serious of a foul roughing is that gets you. Like in the NBA, if you hit somebody in the face, I think you get ejected the game. Does that in the hockey world, if you hit somebody in the face like that, not when they're throwing the gloves off, but just when you come out of nowhere and you basically ransack a guy from behind.
Are you talking hit by Jamie Benn on Mark Chappelle?
There you go. So I was kind of close, but
yeah.
You're kind of close. Like the guys were on the same rink. I got you.
I had the B and the S for the first start to the name, then he fills in the rest. I thought the guy's name was Souffle at first, but whatever.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, obviously, anytime.
Go ahead.
Anytime there's a roughing call in hockey, it does go to a review. It's not like the NBA or the NFL where they review the play like instantly. Like if there's a roughing foul in the NFL, unnecessary roughness, they review the play for targeting, things like that. Same thing with NBA. If they call like a hard foul, they always review it right away for like the flagrant 1, flagrant 2 type of things like that. The NHL, anytime there's a roughing penalty, they give them the 5-minute major. Typically, they let the game continue on. They do what they do. The next day is kind of when they review it. They see if there's any intent to injury, anything that's more than what they would deem roughing contact. And if they decide that nothing is over the top, then he gets to play game 5. If they decide that it was a little intense, then he can get suspended for 1 game. But if he does get suspended, it's only a 1-game thing. It's not going to be like a multiple 2, 3, 4 game suspension.
So I got to imagine he was given roughing, and they did review it. So I got to imagine, and he was given.
They haven't reviewed it yet. They haven't reviewed it yet. They'll be reviewing it today. They'll have a decision before the game tomorrow.
Okay. All right, well, that clears that up then, because I wasn't sure how that was going to play out.
Chances are he's not going to get suspended at all because it's playoff hockey.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's probably going to happen is he's going to get a fine.
Yeah, playoff hockey is supposed to get physical. It's supposed to be a little bit rough, so he'll probably get like a $20,000 fine or whatever the fine is, and then that'll be it.
Edmund, I would say this, Winnipeg at the end of the game when they were walking into the tunnel, they got the camera that shows them coming down the tunnel. Winnipeg was so pissed off. I saw 3 guys literally slam their sticks in the ground and breaking their sticks, bro. And I'm like, damn, that's like a $400 stick. They don't even care. Bam, they don't care. Break that thing.
It's because they doubled the shots. They doubled the shots of Dallas. They had so many more quality looks on goal than Dallas did.
Oh, they did. Absolutely.
And yet they have 1 goal and Dallas has 3.
Yep.
Like, as an offense, yes, Hellenbeck shouldn't have given up 3 goals, but he did not play that bad last night compared to how he has been playing. Mm-hmm. It's the offense last night. Like, you double a team in shots, you should be winning that game. It doesn't matter how good the goalie is on the other side. If you're doubling a team in shots and getting 24 more shots than them, you should find a way to score 2 goals on those 25 shots.
No question. No question.
I know in that game there was at least 2 or 3 shots on goal. There was nobody around. He just and Ottinger, just blocked him really well. It was a good game overall. What's up, Pat?
Hey guys.
What's happening?
Hey, sorry I'm wow. Sorry I'm late.
There's a hard for you today.
I have been trying to get some videos out. I gotta get some things taken care of today. And I just realized, I'm like, well, hell, it's noon.
So it is. Oh, so you didn't have an event or something you're coming from? You just getting some content?
I am putting together content for a couple of different things. So I'm not going to be on for very long, but I wanted to check in with you guys. I don't know. I haven't been able to pay attention because I have been too busy freaking working all morning long. In fact, there's supposed to be a Phillies game happening here any second. The fact that it stopped raining may even mean that they play it. With that being said, anything else leaked today?
No,
yes.
The one thing I've seen is some of the leaks are inaccurate.
Well, the Thanksgiving game leaked. One of the Thanksgiving games leaked, I guess. I don't know if you saw that one.
Well, they put out the full week schedule. That's what
I ain't seen nothing. So you guys gotta don't leave me suspended here. I gotta get going here.
So the one Thanksgiving game that got leaked is the Chiefs in Dallas. So the Chiefs are going to Dallas on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
That's going to be a good game.
I like that. I like that matchup. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I've never seen that as a Thanksgiving. We always get Detroit or Washington or something on Thanksgiving. I'm surprised we actually got the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean the Cowboys. And
You never get Detroit. You never get Detroit.
We play Detroit.
Well,
Never do you ever play Detroit.
Maybe it's just Washington.
Detroit always gets a home game, and
Yeah.
so do the Cowboys. So there's never a time where you will ever play Detroit on Thanksgiving. Just because they play on Thanksgiving, and I'm sure that's what's on your brain. You're like, hey, I remember seeing Detroit play on Thanksgiving, but you guys never play them.
I am 52. Leave me alone.
Yeah, it looks like the Vikings are going to be getting the Lions on Thanksgiving.
There we go. Yep.
And then they have not decided who the night cap is yet for the late night game. And the Vikings game is not official yet. The only one that's official is the Cowboys and Chiefs, but it does look like it's going to be Vikings and Lions on Thanksgiving as well.
I mean, to be fair, nothing's official until 8 p.m. tonight on NFL Network.
But they don't have obviously Detroit and Dallas get the two.
There are official leaks.
No, there are. There's definitely some things. I've seen the opening week for us leaked two different ways. One of them had us against the Rams. One of them had us against the Niners. So I guess we'll find out tonight. But
the only leak that came out of that was in whoever's pants it was that tried to leak that out.
Pretty much.
I mean, the leaks up here in Green Bay area, they have the Packers playing 3 different people.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is it's all just nonsense.
They had the Packers playing the Ravens on Monday night was the first one I saw for the first week. The next one they have the Packers playing the Vikings, and then the next one they have the Packers playing the Lions. And all the games at the same time. They all have Monday night. So I'm like, well, at least the Packers might be playing Monday night, but apparently they don't know who they're going to have them playing Monday night yet.
It'll be the morning game.
No, they have Baltimore Ravens. I have the full week right here. You're getting Baltimore Ravens on Monday night. Me and Pags are going to go at it on Sunday. Chiefs Chargers are going to go at it on Friday.
We're going on Thursday. So obviously that is not correct either if it's got us going on Sunday.
No, it's September 4th. Yeah, September 4th. Yeah. Us, me and you, Eagles and Cowboys.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure, because if you're saying that it's on Sunday, I'm like, that's definitely not.
No, I meant the first week of schedule.
No, that would have definitely been wrong.
No, you got on Sunday, you got Jets and the Cleveland Browns. You got the Saints and Titans, Broncos and Texans, Panthers and Buccaneers.
Actually, that's not true. I'm going to say that whatever you're looking at right now is no good.
This came off of the NFL schedule 2025. I mean, it's the NFL one.
That's the one that I saw this morning. But then
I don't know what you're coming off of, but this one I'm coming off of right here.
Yeah,
and that's off of NFL. That's off of the NFL.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, week one
Then I trust that one more than anything else.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because there was a lot more games that they were talking about, I know that the Chiefs are playing out in Brazil.
Yeah.
And they made that a divisional game, which is ridiculous to me, but okay, you're going to have a divisional game in Brazil. Okie doke.
Well, you got another divisional game because you got the Vikings and the Lions going at it.
That takes care of Thanksgiving then the Vikings wouldn't get the Lions on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you guys
flip it.
But I think that's going to be a good game, honestly, between you two guys. I want to see what J.J. McCarthy does against that Detroit defense.
Yeah, I want to see how the kid does, because I mean, at Michigan he wasn't really asked to do a ton. He's going to get asked to do some stuff now. So,
you get the Rams. Seahawks get the Rams week 1. That should be a good game. That's another divisional game.
That'll be a fantastic game. It's one I don't think they win though.
Okay.
Which is unfortunate. You never want to start the year 0-1.
Hey, look, I got to go against the Eagles, so I don't want to hear you crying over there.
No. I mean, you're going on. I'm just saying there's so many new pieces that week 1 is probably not going to be a real polished product for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I just want to
On
see
the
what
lighter news, though, Dak Prescott seems to, according to the article I read on him, he seems to like the pairing of Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. So I don't know if that's him just saying that to make it sound good, or if he actually really feels that way. If he really feels that way, then that does give me maybe a little glimmer of hope about Pickens and the Cowboys.
I mean, what's he
has
supposed to say?
talent. Like it's
No, I'm
it's
not saying he doesn't have talent. I'm just saying the chemistry. Will it be there? You know, is he going to butt heads with Dak?
well, I mean, if you guys start losing, yes.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah.
You know, winning cures all, but I mean, he wants the ball. He's the number 2 target. That definitely leaves room for there to be a problem.
But I mean, what is Dak Prescott supposed to say though? Like, is he supposed to come out and say, "I really don't want Pickens to be here"?
Yeah, no,
I really don't think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder if that's really how he feels, or if that's just a PR move that typically, you know, he would have to do to keep the press at bay, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't come out and be like, "This guy sucks. I wish he wasn't here." I mean, you can't do that,
right? And the thing about it is, with him now going to the deep routes, I'm assuming CD will just basically be a lot more slot oriented.
Mm-hmm.
How that's going? You don't think CD is going to go to the slot? You think CD stays at the wide receiver? Long deep threat route.
CD's their wide receiver. No, Pickens will be the deep threat, but CD will do everything, like the in routes, the out routes, the crossing, the post. Like CD will be there to do everything receiver.
You'll still see him stretch the field because now, if you got like a single high, he has to pick one, right? So then the other side's going to have one-on-one deep. So,
right.
Yeah, no, I mean it's it could be a fun offense, no question.
Yeah, well, I think it could be beneficial. It could be beneficial for Ferguson at the tight end spot, as well as probably Tolbert, which will be our number 3 guy. You know, they'll probably get more looks and stuff because the other 2 guys will be targeted. So I think it's going to open up a lot for that tight end and possibly maybe even the running back if Dak throws it out of throws to one of the guys in the backfield. I mean, it's going to be interesting to say the least. And I'm curious to see how they do against Philadelphia, which is going to be a tough team to go up against in week 1. And I think that's going to be a good barometer for maybe where the Cowboys are, even though I know week 1 you tend to sputter maybe a little bit because you're getting used to the season. But still, it's a good challenge.
Well, I mean, the Eagles shouldn't sputter. They bring most of their guys back, right? Like they.
No, I'm talking about the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you guys will be – I feel like you're just going to have a very up and down kind of season. Like you're going to have games where you're like, okay, they might do something, and then – you're going to have games where you're just like, they're going to be last. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I want to see how they come out the gate, with Pickens there. And now they got Jaden Blue at the running as a potential running back spot. I want to see how they do up against a team like Philly that is more experienced and poised and things like that. And obviously the champions. And we are going into their home field when they're going to release the banner. And so it's going to be a lot of on that end of the spectrum. And I'm curious to see how this Cowboys team does respond now that Dak is back.
I mean, it's always rough week 1 to have somebody drop a banner on you. That's
what I mean?
That's a bummer. That's why whenever you don't make it, you always hope whoever's in your division also loses because you're like, man, I just don't want them to hang a banner on me.
Well, and I figure that they're going to hang that banner and it's going to go up right in front of Jerry Jones and it might get stuck for a minute. They may have to hit the button up and down a little bit.
And then once they finally get it unstuck, it's going to land inside his press box that he's sitting in, and then they're going to have to go get it, and they're going to shake it out in front of him quick, and then they're going to finally put it up.
I mean, they have the guy to come do it. They'll just bring Halliburton's dad in. He's got the he's got the shakedown in front of his face. It'll be fine.
Well, the thing about that is, though, if I thought that Jerry Jones really gave a damn about the Cowboys and putting the Super Bowl winning team and getting a GM and getting the right head coaches in place and things of that nature. If I thought he really gave a damn to where if you did hang the banner in front of his face to piss him off, I would be excited because I'm like, yes, please get Jerry Jones pissed so that he gets our team back. But this guy would probably be like, I got billions of dollars. Go ahead and hang your banner. And that's the problem I have. I don't know if it's going to necessarily piss him off, as I think he's impartial to all of it, to be honest with you.
I mean, yeah, maybe. If there was ever a guy that could make that happen, it would be Jerry. Right? I mean, he's one of those cornerstones of the league. So I mean, I can't imagine you'd want to go on the road and catch an L week 1. But I mean, hey.
Yeah, well, should be
Life
a
happens.
very interesting game. Yeah, it does. Life happens. So does shit.
I mean, yep. So on that schedule, we're playing the Rams. Are we in LA?
Let me go back and double tap. Yes, at LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then the Bengals are going to be at Buffalo to round that all out.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too,
I
honestly.
like that matchup.
And Minnesota's always going to be at Detroit. San Fran's going to be at Indy. So, and yeah, Miami will be at the Steelers. That Steelers game, I'm kind of curious to see how that Steelers game comes out with Miami. I think that's going to be, for me, it's going to be another good game.
That'll depend on who's throwing the ball for the Steelers.
Exactly.
It'll be a good game until TJ Watt knocks Tua Tagovailoa out.
I mean,
yeah. Then we get to see if yours is really a shitty quarterback or if he's a good quarterback.
He'll be the third string.
That's right. Who's Miami's second string?
Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Oh, then yeah, you get Zach Wilson. Okay.
I mean, and Wilson's probably going to get a chance to play this year.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm curious. So the Niners have the Colts. Who wins that starting role?
I guess it's going to be determined, right? Daniel Jones,
Daniel Jones.
I think Daniel Jones is going to take that. I do.
Me too.
You don't. My thoughts on it is you don't pay a guy like Daniel Jones, who obviously has not had a very good NFL career. You don't pay a guy $15 million for one season if you don't think he's going to be your starter. Like
if he would just really stink it up in preseason or in training camp.
Like if you're bringing him in to be the backup, you'd probably pay him $7 or $8 million to be the backup. But kind of like what Joe Flacco was getting when Joe Flacco was a backup, kind of what Sam Darnold got last year because no one thought Darnold was going to be the starter coming out of camp. So they just gave him that 1 year, $7 million deal, and he ended up becoming the starter. You're not giving Daniel Jones $15 million to sit behind Anthony Richardson. Like you're giving him $15 million because you fully expect him to be the starter coming out of camp.
How many more years does Anthony Richardson have on that rookie contract?
3 if you count the 5th-year option, 2 if you don't count the 5th-year option.
Yeah.
Okay.
Imagine if Riley Leonard just shows out somehow and wins that shit.
Right.
I mean, he had a good year last year.
Yeah.
hell with these other two bums. Let me get a crack at it.
I mean, I wouldn't rule it out.
He'll be the Colts version of Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Where he does a little bit of everything.
I wonder how Show is gonna play at his debut season for the Saints, or do you think it's gonna be Rattler or it's gonna be Spencer Rattler debuting for them?
Most likely, Show has. I mean, he's a project still.
Yeah.
So Rattler probably gets the start. Although, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he comes along quick. Guess we'll see. But I would imagine
got a strong contract with the Saints too. Is that what I heard?
What's that?
Who?
Shohei got a contract with the Saints too.
No, Tyler. It's like Tyler Shuck.
Yeah.
Shuck.
I wasn't sure. You were saying show, and I was like, Shohei Ohtani got another contract. I'm like, he got.
I've been struggling with last names like Stat Guy struggles with city names like Berlin instead of Berlin. So just cut me some slack here today, Pags. It's a rough day for phonics.
Oh, it's not. Hey, I'm not blaming you at all. So I can't even hear. I can't even hear what the hell's going on because I'm too busy. I'm also trying to get these commercials done today. So. And I'm sorry, it's kind of stuck. So it's been an odd day. Obviously, I'm painted up in green, and I was at like everybody's going to a Phillies game. They're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, they're about to drop a schedule."
Yep.
So.
Yep. No, I mean that's always fun about promos. Get it
exactly.
All dressed up and nowhere to go.
So listen, guys, I'm going to try to get back here in a little bit, but I got to get this done before it gets too late here. So
No,
I
for
will.
sure.
I'm hoping to get back on here before you guys close up.
Hey,
Sounds
just
good,
one
man.
quick question. When you do your commercial, do you go to a separate, like another location, or do you do it there at Dolan's bar area? Or
So I went to the stadium today and had to deal with the rain and every bus known to man because I forgot that there was a doubleheader. There was actually a day game that was supposed to happen today, and they're bringing in every child that has high school or middle school for weather day.
yeah,
Rainy
oh,
day
wow,
recess. Let's go.
okay,
Yeah, and it's all raining today, so it's a great day to learn about weather because it's getting weathered on. They're all getting weathered on. So, yeah. So, and of course, every bus has got to be like, "Hey, there's the Philly sports guy, honk, honk, honk," which killed every video that I did, like, or that
Oh yeah.
video that I did, which means that I'm like, okay, this is great. Thanks, guys. Woohoo! Yay, that's me. You just ruined my commercial. Thank you. I gotta go do it again.
8:35.
And then I love that then I got a guy who just decides that he's gonna park. Like he must have saw exactly where I was and says, you know what? I want to be in his video. Let me park right there, right in front of Lincoln Financial Field.
Sure.
And I got nobody to Uber, but I'm gonna stand here anyways as a big Tahoe. Yeah, I was.
So you were doing a Chevy commercial.
I go and knock up on his door, and then he gives me this look like, "Oh my God, you just touched my car!" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm doing a commercial. Can you get the frig out of the way, there, guy?"
and of course, as he's driving away in his Tahoe, he's probably saying, "Damn super fans."
And it all came out. It didn't matter that I did any of it because ultimately you can't. Like I can't mess with everything enough to be able to get the sound the way I need it to. So I have to piece this together anyways.
Oh, you got to dub over it.
Yeah, it's like so. I'm like now I'm actually finding all the videos to be able to do the dub. So
I gotcha.
anyways,
All right. Well, have a good rest of your day, Philly.
Yep.
I'll be back hopefully in a little bit. If not, I'll see you guys later.
You know it. Later, bro. Yeah, and I mean, funny enough, like when I do promos for stuff, I usually end up driving to the stadium also, and so
Right.
it does suck when people are like in the way, or you know, people driving by see you with a camera, so they'll honk, and you're just like, it is lame. Like, not only did I drive all the way here to create something that's like 30 seconds to a minute, but it's going to take me an hour to do it because of just dumb stuff around.
Hate it when that happens.
For 30 seconds. That is the most frustrating part about it. You're like, cool. So I drove 30 minutes here, 30 minutes out. It's going to take me 45 minutes because of dumb stuff. I'm going to kill basically 2 hours for 30 seconds. And that's not editing. That's just doing the thing. It's like, man, this lame.
Yeah.
So that's why I always find it funny when people are like, oh yeah, can you just like bang this little promo out? It's like, realize that's not how that works, right? Like some of these promos can kill half your day.
Well, that is the price that has to be paid. Unfortunately, it's the price that has to be paid. Question.
Oh, here we go.
So they actually let Shoeless Joe back or reinstated back into baseball, and Pete Rose back and gets reinstated.
Yeah, so
I almost thought that was like one of those gags, like one of those joke things. I was like, nah, that's probably not real.
You knew for a fact that Rose was gonna.
Yep.
Because they want to be able to stop talking about the guy. Because now you let him in and it's done. You never have the narrative of they need to let him in and have this story that pops up every single Hall of Fame cycle. Now, this time around, he'll be a first ballot. He'll get in.
Yep.
And then it's over. Because no one's going to talk about it again because now he's in.
Right.
And now that he's passed away, he's in the Hall of Fame. he just gets to, fade away into the darkness there. So realistically, that's the only reason they're doing it, is because now they can just put it to bed and they're done.
Yeah. I was glad to see, honestly, that Shoeless Joe got put in, because a lot of people, especially younger generations, they don't even know who Shoeless Joe Jackson is, unless you're a baseball historian of that nature. But it's good to see him get put into there finally, and get his accolade as well. So I was glad to see it. I thought it was interesting that he said now, basically, he has said that anybody, I guess going forward, if anybody decides to cheat or do something that gets you banned, you'll know that at least one thing happens. When you die, you'll get put in. So don't ask for reinstatement. Just got to wait till you die.
Yeah, I mean, there's extenuating circumstances for sure. Like some of these guys have found their way to be able to get reinstated. Or there's ones that they're trying to prove a point, like Barry Bonds, where maybe he never does. But I don't know. The double standard on that stuff I find hilarious, because it's like, oh, we found out you did steroids, but you were already in. We'll just leave you in. But you used them before you got in? Well, now you're banned. It's like, so either let everybody in that should be in, or take the people out that you found were doping. Like if it's such a huge issue, I don't know.
And do you think
double standard stupid?
And do you think that now that Pete got in, even though he cheated, he got in. I know Shoeless Joe claimed he cheated, he got in. A lot of people say steroids was cheating. Do you think that maybe this, though, is the first stepping stone to getting the steroid people into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, probably. I mean, just give it the asterisk, right? Just be like, hey, this was doped up. There's guys that were in there that they found out were doped up after the fact. It's not like they took their Hall of Fame bid away. So you might as well let them all in. Just throw the star next to it. Be like, hey, this was the doping era. But it's not like steroids made you see the ball better.
No.
In fact, you hit against guys that were jacked up and had crazy spin rate because of steroids also. So you could argue that the ball might have been harder to hit.
and that's true. And I don't even think you got to put an asterisk next to the name. They just need to have a whole wing that just says steroid era. And then put them all in that one wing. No asterisk, just put them in that one wing.
Well, I think what would get the asterisk next to it is the
records.
Yeah, the numbers. Numbers.
And I get that. Yeah.
Because I mean,
now that part, it is what it is, right?
When you see Mark McGwire through most of his career, not that he didn't hit a bunch of home runs before anyway, right? But he looked like a normal dude. And then when him and Sammy were going for the record, his arms were tree trunks. And you're like, gee, I wonder if maybe he's taking a supplement.
I look at a baseball player like Tony Gwynn. I don't know if that man ever did steroids. I'm going to say he didn't, because I don't want to put anything on his name. But you take a guy who is amazing at hitting the baseball. This guy can see it. He's probably one of the best hitters in the baseball era.
Sure.
Could you imagine what he would be like if he was on steroids and you had the power behind the contact of him? I wonder how many home runs he would have had and how he would have fared up against a guy like Barry Bonds. Because I will tell you right now, I think pound for pound, Tony Gwynn is a better hitter than Bonds. That's just my opinion. And then I think if he wasn't juicing and you have him juicing, I wonder how many home runs that man would have crushed.
Well, I mean, that would be like saying, imagine if Will Clark was juicing.
Right. And that's true. That's true.
Right. Will Clark had a hell of a career anyway.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, no, some of those dudes, if they would have juiced up, would have been crazy. Then give them some of those corked up bats. Hey, let's go. And this is way back when, but the reason why I like Babe Ruth so much was I don't think that man was ever sober at the plate. And I got to imagine how hard that must have been to go up there drunk as hell, headaches, hangovers, or whatever, and yet you're still crushing the ball out of the ballpark, and you hit 715 home runs, and you're probably at the plate 80% of the time, tanked off your ass. He wasn't doing it with a hangover. You got to sober up to get a hangover.
Well, that's true. Okay, so fine. I'm trying to, make it fun, whatever. But I mean, but you know what though? But you got to admit, there's a certain level of impressiveness Now you can say, well, Jay, that pitchers weren't as dynamic as they are in the spin rates and all that. That's fine.
Sure.
But still, I don't care who you are, to go to the plate and stand there long enough, straight and vertical, and hit a ball out the ballpark drunk as hell. Come on.
What are you talking about? You don't got to be straight and vertical.
Well, you probably don't, Bo.
What do you
Again.
think? How do you think the bat wiggles happened? It's just like,
And it's not like he was like using the lightest bat. I mean, I think his bat weighed like what, 36, 41 pounds, ounces or
21
whatever.
pounds.
Not 41 pounds. I'm sorry, 41 ounces. I know I said pounds. Leave me alone.
That's what you call swinging a tree.
I meant to say 41 ounces. I'm sorry,
man.
so ounces.
What the hell is this? The Fred Flintstone hammer that he's swinging?
Right? Like, how early do you have to start that swing?
I really hate you guys.
You have to start that swing on Tuesday to make contact Wednesday evening.
I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 5. Could you imagine what it is? No, I'm kidding. But I mean, but I am still blown away by the ability that what he could do being intoxicated. I mean, that's insane.
I mean, all things being equal, sometimes having some of that gets you out of your own head. Like there's some guys that I kind of wish would do a little bit of drinking, just when they're in a slump, right?
Yeah.
Because then you're not thinking about your slump, right? I mean, when you look at baseball, it's so streaky because guys get in their own head about stuff.
Oh yeah.
So some of those guys like, hey, you know what? Why don't you go get hammered? Come out here. You're already striking out all the time, anyways. It's not going to make it worse, but it might get you out of your own way.
Exactly.
One of the guys I remember thinking about slumps and things. Remember Chris Davis for the Baltimore Orioles? Comes out first baseman, comes out first year, crushes the ball, hitting everything. Just looks like one of the best things you ever seen. And then somewhere after that first year, he couldn't hit shit until he faded out of the baseball world altogether. I don't know if y'all remember. You remember Chris Davis?
Yeah, he was with the Baltimore Orioles.
He had he was hot that first year. And then after that, that was it. That was 1 year wonder.
There is no better example than Charles Barkley golf swing.
Oh, yeah.
He had a solid swing, and then he had like a few years of the weirdest swing you've ever seen in your life. And he has since gotten through it. But he had like this weird like half swing stop and then go. Like it was the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It reminds me of that. Remember the commercial with Barkley when he asked Chuck GBT about his golf and he said, "Do you really want to know?" No.
Sure don't. Yeah. No, so that's the thing, right? Like you can get in your own head and disrupt some just normal mechanics.
Yeah, Jay, that slump that you're talking about with Chris Davis, he ended up hitting 34 home runs in 2017, followed it up with 48 home runs the next year and signed like a massive 5-6 year $140 million contract. And then towards the end of 2018 into the beginning of 2019, Chris Davis went hitless over 54 at bats.
Yeah.
And
going off of a cliff.
And then if you count the walks, because walks don't actually count as an official at bat, he went hitless for 71 at bats, counting the walks. And then after that, he was never able to recover as he posted a 129 batting average his final 205 games in baseball.
That is wild.
Yeah. So once he hit that slump, it just took such a mental toll on him that he was never able to hit himself out of that slump again after hitting 90 home runs in like a 2-year stretch to get a massive contract.
But I tell you, this man's performance went off.
He got his contract.
I tell you, this man went off of a cliff, performance-wise. That dude went off a cliff, and there was no bottom.
Well, those contracts are guaranteed. He's probably signed that deal and was like, and I'm done.
Yeah,
generational wealth. Let me clock out.
Going 0 for 54 though, that's like a month.
That is crazy.
That's like a month of games without a hit. If you played every game and got 3 at bats a game, that's literally a month of games without getting a hit.
No, that is wild.
That is rough.
Yeah.
And when there should be sound, so probably refresh the browser. Man, yeah, I can't imagine missing that many at bats. Like that's nuts.
And I wonder what the batting coach is, because I'm sure the hitting coach was working with him. I wonder what those conversations were like, that they're having between the two of them.
Like at some point, you can't really say or do anything. Like at some point, as a batting coach, like if you're putting in the work in the cages and you're putting in the work during the off days, and he's making contact and he's like showing that he can still hit the ball, and then all of a sudden you get to the game and you're like 0 for 54. There's not much you can say as a coach because you're just like, you're putting the work in. We can see you doing the work. It's just not translating from doing it in non-game action to game action. Like there's not much you can say as a hitting coach. It's just one of those things in baseball. Same thing with like pitchers that have been historically wild, like where they come in and they might walk like 7 or 8 batters in the game. All the bullpen sessions are throwing like nothing but strikes. Like all your practice and all your workouts are throwing nothing but strikes. All of a sudden you get to a game and you can't find the strike zone. As a pitching coach,
that's what I'm saying. Slide him over to the DH, get him hammered.
As a pitching coach, you're just sitting out there. It's just like, well, what do you want us to do?
But wait a minute, but don't these teams have like therapists that work with them, like on the psychological part of hitting? I mean, don't they have therapists come in and work on that aspect with them? I'm sure the NFL probably has something like that or whatever.
It doesn't matter for on the field, though.
Are you trying to tell me that Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball? Don't you remember that line from Major League? You can have all the hitting therapists you want in the world, but if you can't hit that curveball, that therapist ain't going to do you a damn thing.
That's exactly right.
I think there's more to the part where I think what Bo was saying, how you get in your head sometimes, and it's hard to get out of your head. And I was wondering if they had those therapists that maybe help them get out of their heads.
Well,
they do.
But they can't on the field.
Yeah, they do have those.
Well, I understand that. Yeah, I understand.
If you're going up there as a hitter, like, and you're talking with your therapist saying, I can't hit a curveball, like, for whatever reason, I can pick up the spin, I can't hit a curveball. The therapist can be like, well, this is based on who you're going to face the next day. Let's just say you're facing, like, Clayton Kershaw the next day. The therapist can be like, historically speaking, Clayton Kershaw likes to throw a curveball in this sequence, like on this pitch, at this pitch, at this pitch, to kind of prepare the batter for it. But then if you go into that sequence and you don't see a curveball, you might get 3 fastballs, and if you're sitting curveball, you're not going to touch a fastball.
Well, and I mean, there's no therapist on the planet that could keep me away from a slider. Like, all the therapy in the world, and I would still swing at that thing. Because it looks like a fastball most of the way. Yeah. You're like, yeah, I'm going to tattoo this thing, and you're like, oh, no, it's out of reach.
Damn.
Sad panda.
So I know you said you watched basketball last night. The Pacers game really didn't do much for me, but I felt like that Nuggets OKC game was, I was saying like, okay, Joker, they got it going. The Nuggets, maybe they're gonna get this 3-2, go back to Denver, whatever, handle business. No, that fourth quarter, that midway through the third and into that fourth, no. That was all OKC at that point. I was like, well, here we go again.
Scott, I don't think that would help your guy out. I think OKC is gonna do this thing.
Yeah.
The next round will be interesting, though.
Yeah, the thing of getting to the Pacers for a minute, because I know I brought them up like super early. The Cavaliers this season were 36-5 at home during the regular season. If you count the playoffs, they lost 8 games at home all year, counting the playoffs. The Indiana Pacers were 5-0 at Cleveland this year. So, I mean, that's why I said when the playoffs started, everyone was like looking at the Cavaliers having the 1 seed and basically saying, oh, Boston's going to be the only team that can beat them. But then when you saw the Pacers get the 4 seed, it was like, Pacers aren't afraid to go to Indiana or go to Cleveland. That's not a matchup Cleveland wants to see because the Pacers are not afraid to go to Cleveland and win.
Yeah. So that would that would make your finals. You think, or your championship? So you think the Pacers go the rest of the way then?
I think it's going to be Indiana and OKC.
Okay. All
right. I like the way that the Knicks are playing.
Yep.
But after Boston self-destructed in this series because they were the first 2 games of the series, they were up by 20 plus points against the Knicks and let it get away. Yep. So I can't really sit here and say the Knicks played great against Boston. It was more so that Boston was dominating them basically for 2.5 games, and then just fell apart in the fourth quarter. And then when Jason Tatum went down, it's more so like, okay, now that's the icing on the cake. Like Boston doesn't have enough at this point to take New York down. Versus you look at the Pacers physically dismantled Cleveland. Injuries aside or not, they physically dismantled Cleveland. They put up 80 points in the first half in Game 4, and were up 80-37 at halftime.
The Cavs looked absolutely gassed from the minute this series started.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's a credit to Indiana because of the pace they play at. Like, Indiana's like just constant running up and down the court like it's a track meet. Like, unless you are in like great shape, you're not keeping up with that team for 48 minutes.
No,
like,
exactly.
That's why like it's good. Like the Knicks are a great defensive team, obviously, but if Indiana can get out and run, the Knicks are not going to be able to slow them down enough to like hold them under 110 points. Like Indiana right now is playing the best basketball of anybody in the Eastern Conference. And I do think they are going to do enough to win the series. It might go 6 or 7 games, but I do think Indiana is going to do enough to win it just because they've, I think, had to play the tougher opponents than what the Knicks have played so far.
Yeah.
And speaking of Tatum too, he did have a surgery yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Early prognosis is that he will not be back until December 2026 at the earliest. Possibly not even until 2027.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Into 26, into 27. That's the time frame I was thinking for that Achilles.
Yeah, I was imagining he was going to miss all of next season.
So
on this timing.
So it was not only a ruptured Achilles, but it was a full Achilles tear, which means he tore it completely. So not only did he tear it from the ankle, but he also tore it from the calf. So it was like a complete tear all the way through. That's a 14 to 16 month rehab minimum. And then obviously it's going to take you another 2 months to get back into basketball shape, to get back into basketball strength. So you're looking at probably 16 to 18 months. And probably
if I was Boston, I would do the full 18 and don't rush him back because he's young enough that there's a lot of career after that, and give him that full time to heal. Because if you crush it at both ends, the last thing you want to do is try to bring him back early and then really basically ruin him and put him in a Derrick Rose category or something.
And you're probably looking at upwards of 24 months before he's probably even at 100%. So you're probably looking at basically by playoffs of 2027 is probably when he would be 100%. But who even knows where Boston's going to be sitting at that point? Like they probably aren't going to be a top 4 seed without him unless they kind of make a trade to fill in the void that he's going to be missing. So if Boston's kind of in that 5 or 6 seed range when he gets to that 100%, do you push him at that point, or you just be like, hey, we're where we are right now. Let's just get through this season and then come back healthy at the start of the next season.
No, I mean, if you have a chance to win a ring, you try to win a ring. Like if he's
I'm saying like if they're like a 5 or a 6 seed, like if they're a 5 or a 6 seed when he gets close to being like that 100%, do you kind of go to him and be like, all right, we're a 5 or a 6 seed. We are where we are. Do you want to push it and try to go 100% and see what we can do? Or do you want to stay on like your 30 minutes per game restriction through the playoffs? We'll just kind of play with house money at this point and see what happens. And then once next season starts, we'll just go 100% go for it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll just depend on where you're at, I guess. This is true with any team that lives and dies by the 3. Like in the games that you're not hitting, you got to remember that mid-range shots still exist. So if you're randomly shooting that 20% because your shot just isn't landing, stop heaving them up there because the other team's still getting buckets. So like you got to do something to keep pace. I never understand these teams that are like, oh yeah, let me just sit here and continue to miss and lose this game by 40. Like, hey, you know what? There's this whole like 20 feet and in area that you can still shoot the basketball. So
but 3s are so much better than 2s.
Yeah, I mean, you do get to conserve energy because you don't have to run around as much. But I mean, like at some point, if you want to win games, if the 3 isn't landing, there are other places to shoot from.
Well, the thing is, though, Boston's already said that regardless however this season went, win or lose a championship, that they were going to make drastic changes to the roster financially and things of that nature, because I think they had the second highest payroll. And I know Tatum's he accounts for 54.1. I think Brown is there around 50.2.
No, Brown's at 60. Brown's at 60.
It's Brown at 6. Okay, that may have been the whole point of it is I don't, regardless of however this season ended, they were going to go through a change at some level. And I would not be surprised when Tatum does come back 2 years later. this roster doesn't look a lot different.
No, I mean, that's entirely possible. And yeah, just like this, he did essentially miss 2 seasons. So, I mean, that is a thing. I don't think this is accurate, though, there, Scott. I don't think Cleveland's just a good regular season team. They're not going to do anything in the playoffs. Realistically, this Cleveland team is OKC from last year. They were just lacking a lot of experience. They came into this one looking gassed. Last year, if you remember when OKC dropped out, again, a young team lost to a team that had more experience. So I think they're just kind of following that same model. They'll be back next year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, will they go further? I mean, who knows? The playoffs are the playoffs. But I don't think they're just a regular season, barely make it kind of team. They got a good team there.
And the thing, too, is I'm not going to use this as an excuse just because everybody goes through injuries.
Sure.
But Cleveland was very injured in the playoffs. And you knew at some point that was going to catch up to them, whether it was this round, whether it was the conference finals or whatever. You knew the injuries at some point were going to be too much for them to overcome. But to say that they're going to be a great regular season team and not a good playoff team, you also have to look at the matchups, too. Anytime you're going into a best-of-7 series against your division rival, a team that you've already played 4 times during the regular season, a team that knows you as well as they know you, there's a chance that you're going to get beat because there's nothing you can show that opponent that they haven't seen already. You face them 4 times in the regular season, like they know everything about your team. They know everything about their team. There's not like too much that you can do to be like, oh, this is not what this team looked like when we played them 4 weeks ago for the 4th time. It's not like facing a team that you face twice in a year where you might face them once in November, once in December, and now 4 months later you're meeting again in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's what makes the NBA playoffs like such a crapshoot half the time, where usually there are a lot of teams that win 55, 60, 62 games during the regular season and ultimately come up short by either not making the NBA finals or they make the NBA finals but just don't win it. And then you always have those people say, well, this is such a good regular season team, they can't get it done in the playoffs. You still have to look at the playoff matchups and who you're seeing, because if you're facing teams that you're so familiar with, those are the toughest matchups for even the best teams to overcome just because of how well certain teams know each other.
It's kind of funny because I know, but you were talking about heaving the threes. And why don't you go to the 2? I mean, I think Murray was a classic example of that, going 3 for 13 at the 3-point line. You're like, guy, 3 for 13. What? You couldn't find a middle range shot in there somewhere, And then Porter Jr., he was another one. He went 0 for 5. Like, bro, if you miss 3, let's go in a little bit. Let's try to maybe get to the bucket instead of leaving at that 3.
And not even just that, like sometimes getting in a rhythm somewhere else on the floor will open the 3 back up. It's not like you have to abandon it altogether. But if you're just launching bricks,
right?
Let's get something that gets you back in a rhythm. It's like in football, right? Like if your guy isn't hitting, give him checkdowns, get his throws back in a rhythm so that then stuff downfield can start to make sense again. So, I mean, you can do that same kind of thing in basketball. I know, like for me, because I'm not a tall guy, I was a 3-point shooter, but you know where I'd go if I wasn't able to drop a 3?
What's that?
Low post.
Yeah.
Right? Because
you start to right?
You can kick back out and you start to see the basket again. Like I don't know why guys don't do this.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I when the Stars game ended, it ended right at the halftime of the Denver game. And so when I switched over to the Denver Nuggets, I caught the 3rd or 4th quarter of that game. And I will tell you, there were numerous times where I saw air balls that weren't even kind of close to look like they were going to go in. And that's what I'm saying, like, why? Just go to the rim. Because like you said, Bo, they were at a point where in that 3rd quarter, even the 4th, the game was in manageable reach. I mean, it was only like maybe 3 or 4 points away. So why keep launching the 3, get the 2s, keep it close? But they didn't. And the more they kept trying to hit that 3 ball between Murray and not Jokic, because Jokic actually did pretty well. I think he went 5 of 7. But between Murray and Porter Jr., they kept lobbing them up, and they weren't even close. And I'm like, no, go to the damn rim. Or give it to Joker, let Joker go to the rim, whatever,
Well, and you don't even necessarily have to get to the rim.
Anywhere. I'm just saying anywhere within that line.
The fact that people don't take a mid-range shot is crazy. Because there's times that just moving that shot around a little bit can get you back into a rhythm. Like it's so funny that it's you're either dunking or you're launching from half court. It's just like,
right.
There's a lot of room in between those two spots. Man.
I don't know. It's just I definitely think that Denver's done, and I definitely think it's going to be OKC, Minnesota, and I think that both of those teams like to run. So I am very curious to see this matchup. And I'll be honest with you, this is my personal opinion, but I really believe that the Western Conference is going to win the finals. I don't know that the Pacers or the Knicks.
No, I think the West comes out as champions too.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know they have enough to compete with the likes of OKC or even Minnesota, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Now, Jay, not you, Jay. Now, Jay, the winning streak is over, but we've also won 4 games in a row again since our last loss. So now we're back on another winning streak. We've won 13 of our last 14 games after starting 0-2. So we're fine. But yeah, the one comment that Scott made too up there, I do think Porzingis will go, but I don't see him going until Tatum comes back, because without Tatum next year, they're going to need as much offensive help as they can get to kind of make up for his loss. So I do see Porzingis there one more season and then gone. But when it comes to Drew Holiday, there ain't no way in hell Boston's going to let Drew Holiday go. And the reason why I'm going to say that is Drew Holiday played a massive role when the Milwaukee Bucks won the championship. Yeah. Look at how the Bucks have turned out since they've gotten rid of Drew Holiday. And their GM has already admitted the biggest mistake they ever made was not bringing back Drew Holiday, because that team has not been the same since Drew Holiday left. And I can see a very similar situation where if Boston moves on from Drew Holiday, you could kind of see a similar situation where they're still a good team, but they're not what you would consider a title contending team if Drew Holiday wasn't there. Just because he's a very good defensive presence when it comes to a guard. He can shoot, he can score, he can play defense, and he does a lot of things that a lot of point guards in today's NBA don't do.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And Jay, you're right. Indiana has shown that they can play with anyone. So, I mean, they got a team and they hustle.
Yeah, I don't want to discount Indiana. I just don't think when it comes to matching up, I just don't know how they're going to match up with the run and gun style. And I understand Indiana runs, don't get me wrong, but OKC right now with Chet Holmgren and everything they're doing and the depth of those benches, I don't know. It's going to be very difficult for Indiana. And in all honesty, let's be honest, true. And I'm not trying to take any away from Indiana's win over the series at Cleveland. But they have played a hobble Cleveland team, even though I know Gonzo and the Pippas guys don't want to hear that because they feel like they're being disrespected. But I'm sorry, they're hobble. They're hobble. And, the New York, I think the New York series is going to be more of a legitimate test because they did take out Boston or are on the verge of taking out Boston. So that will be a legitimate test. I just don't think either one of those two teams athletically can keep up with the likes of what Minnesota's doing and or OKC.
Yeah, either one of those teams facing the West, they're going to have to win game one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like they're going to have to come in, punch them in the mouth immediately. But no, I think both of the championship series will be good. I think they'll be fun watches. That being said, top of the hour. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps us bring our stuff to you. If you're watching on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour for the Wednesday wrap-up. Otherwise, we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Go Stars!